Hey, Loco Sports fans, welcome to the Loco Sports Lowdown. I even made us a ticker while we were talking amongst ourselves, waiting to get this thing started. It was slated for 9 and then 9:30, and it's 9:40, but it's all good. We're here. Everybody's up late anyway. It's the first Saturday of the NCAA men's basketball tournament, and they gave us so few afternoon games and loaded up the night slots because I guess that's when they get the best ratings and the most ad money. So here we are.
That's what they
Juggling a
do.
bunch of games and staying up real late. So we'll talk some local sports while we're hanging out. Justin Jarrett with Marcus Walsh, Wes Kerr, and Max Araj on the Loco Sports Lowdown, brought to you by Mickelson Law Firm and WHHI TV. And we've got some scores from the past couple of days scrolling across the bottom of the screen so you can get caught up on what's happening. And we'll hit some of the highlights tonight. Talk about another rough weekend for USCB baseball. USCB softball, though, not such a bad. And they got the first one.
But
Sad
today.
Fantastic Friday, sad Saturday.
Still do not have a conference series win on the year for USCB softball, but they're getting there. They just
I mean, good to see
and
them
we
get
can
on Friday, but just the offense was not found today. Just one run in two games. 7-0.
And we can talk about high school baseball and softball from Friday night. We had some good Loco on Loco battles, including some rubber matches in region series. So a lot of good stuff going on. And how y'all boys doing on this fine Saturday? I've come from the Hardyville prom. I made a brief appearance.
There you go.
The dress shirts. It's not my style.
It is prom season.
Yeah, I had to go see my babies all dressed up, and they were having a good time. And then I split out of there. Of course, watching lots of March Madness and been out in the sun a good bit. Weather's been great. How y'all doing?
It sure has been great. The Funky Bunch and I went to Wingfest today. Got some wings and drinks and hung out with a few folks. They even had
I love myself
even had the TV out there, so we were watching a little bit of March Madness outside, which was great. The early window with Michigan taking on St. Louis.
That was a good game, by the way.
Michigan
State taking on Louisville. Both were very good games, I thought.
And both Michigan and Michigan State looked really good.
They did. And they're going to be hard outs, I think.
I got them both in my Final Four. The rest of my bracket is trash so far. So I'm counting on that Final Four coming through.
Yeah, right now it's no massive up. We haven't seen a top seed go down yet, but Gonzaga just went down to Texas.
Yeah, Texas taking out Gonzaga.
Texas looks for real too.
That Texas team is scaring me a little bit right now. I'm not going to lie, especially after that game they had against BYU, who I had picked to win that game. I thought that BYU
in the Sweet 16.
And
I of course had picked Mizzou to win because
man, I wish they would have got it done yesterday.
Man, they had their chances, but I do like that Miami team and think that they're going to give Purdue some fits.
They can
tomorrow. So that whole bracket could get blown up if Miami wins. Then you got a Miami versus Texas situation in the Sweet 16, and so that could get fun over there.
So far, here's where we at. Worldwide, I'm in the lead.
Dead ass
early on.
I'm in dead ass last, but I'm counting on those Arizona.
Middle of the pack.
Long way to go.
You know what's funny to me is that, of course, the one bracket I do for that group turns out to be my worst bracket.
Your worst one
this year so far. It always is.
There's a easy solution to that, and that is the policy that I adopted a few years back after years of being like you and filling out all these different brackets. I finally got tired of just being conflicted about who to root for, and I went to the one bracket to rule them all method, and it is the way. One bracket to rule them all is the way. You'll be like, well, I don't care about this bracket anymore by the evening of the first night. But then, you know what? By the second weekend, it'll start to kind of settle itself out, and you'll be in the mix a little bit, and then you'll fade out, and then it'll just be over, and nobody will care.
It's like when you're in the 4 different fantasy leagues and rooting for this person, but you're playing against the same person in other leagues. It's that same thing.
It's too much. Simplify. Just Marie Kondo that shit and get it down to one bracket.
I did the same thing.
You.
You know, maybe for a tiebreaker or a game here or there, a slight difference, but for the most part, I'm all about keeping it the same, keeping it simpatico, and enjoying the ride because it is a ride.
Well, and also,
no
like,
matter what the
what
year
does it really mean if one of your 9 brackets you filled out turned out to be kind of good? Like, you're not Nostradamus. You were just like
Right.
hedging.
You were lucky.
That's all you did. One of your hedges happened to work out.
Yeah.
So yeah, I kind of lost. I've shaved it down. I used to be the guy who filled out a bunch. Well, there's one scenario where, but that was when I was like a kid, and
Right.
although Max is still basically what I consider myself a kid, his age more or less.
Yes,
So
for sure.
you know, you still got years to mature into one bracket to rule them all.
Hey, here's what I was going to say to add on to it. The best bracket I had coming into today was 99.1% correct as I was coming into day 2.
Well,
that
no,
is
it's
definitely
the
changed.
99% is not the percentage correct. It's a percentile.
Yeah.
Well, I was in that percentile going into today, and I was very happy with myself. And then VCU is currently losing to Illinois. Not St. Louis. I picked Michigan to win, but Texas beating Gonzaga kind of threw me in for a loop today. So, yeah, it is what it is.
Getting all kinds of great texts today with March Madness. I got a couple of different group texts, but we all expected. We all expected. Well, before we get to that, I just wanted to say we all expected Texas to beat Gonzaga because we heard it from Dickie V himself through our Loco Media Network family. Curry Kirkpatrick, one of the great hosts of Under the Bus, got a voicemail from his buddy Dickie V, who actually referred to himself as Dickie V in the voicemail, which was hilarious to me. And he was just asking Curry about what he thought about the Tar Heels and the coaching situation. And he was astounded that people want to fire Hubert Davis and cited his record over the last 5 years. But I think Curry called him and told him, fire him, hire Jay Wright. But anyway, but during that message, he said, hey, I got an upset pick for you. Texas is going to beat Gonzaga tonight, the 3 seed. He said they're down a key player and predicted that would happen. And so none of us were surprised, right? Because
if anybody knew, it would be Dick Vitale because he called them on Tuesday against NC State. And then he certainly saw them for sure in the first round. And Texas is getting hot at the right time.
Not surprised. He's the man. That's
absolutely
what an awesome thing to get to get that from a legend and Dickie V, and just still with elite basketball knowledge. It's fantastic to hear his analysis and to hear him continue to love the game and for him to connect with one of our own. So awesome, baby! I cannot do a good impression.
What a capital A!
Yeah,
are you serious?
Call me, holler at me.
Oh, your friends are.
Give me a ring, Curry. But no, it was funny because like the persona was obviously toned down in his voicemail, and he was calm and collected and everything. But you could still hear like it was Dickie V.
Yeah.
And that was pretty cool.
You got to remember. You got to remember too. He doesn't quite have the voice that he once did.
Right.
With all his bouts with everything, but he still got it.
But it was a more subdued.
86 years old, guys, and he's still doing it. Absolutely
fantastic.
Amazing.
Yep, fantastic.
Same age as Chuck Norris.
Yeah.
Oh, rest in peace, Walker, Texas Ranger.
Yep. Yes, sir.
Some big news. It does feel like the world might be ending. Just saying,
since it was mentioned, just I was going to give my story later, but since it was mentioned now, my favorite Chuck Norris moment. I don't know if who's seen it, but the battle with him and Bruce Lee in the Roman Coliseum in Return of the Dragon, it was made in like the 70s or so. Terrific movie, and that was one of the more iconic scenes in the career of Chuck Norris and the career of Bruce Lee.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. Bruce Lee, legend.
Yeah.
But rest in peace to
Yep.
Chuck Norris and
Indeed.
perhaps the universe as we know it.
Yeah.
But the show brought to you by Mickelson Law Firm and WHHI TV. Mickelson Law Firm is our original sponsor. You could call them our founding sponsor. They've been with us since the beginning and supported us every step of the way, and they can support you every step of the way in whatever legal journey you may find yourself on. So if you have legal needs, call on Mickelson Law Firm right in downtown Bluffton. They're our official real estate closing attorney and the presenting sponsor of our Hilton Head Christian Academy coverage. So we thank them for all their support. And then WHHI TV, our co-custodian of Marcus Walsh and partner in local sports coverage. We love working with WHHI TV, and I think between the two of us, we pretty well got it on lockdown for covering LowcoSports. And we love to be a part of your live coverage. The one kind of area that we don't delve into, the live event broadcast, you guys have it on lock, and we love being a part of that, and love having you to add your voice to the LowcoSports Lowdown. So thanks for that, and let's keep it rolling with LowcoSports and WHHI TV. But yeah, let's talk some local sports, and I guess, do we go ahead and start with USCB and just get it out of the way? Not a great weekend for the Sand Sharks. Not over yet. Baseball still got one more, but rough couple of first games against USC Aiken, and then softball with a great win in game one, but then two losses today against Georgia College.
I mean, the second game for Murphy has been credit these offenses for picking up and picking up on the starter Murphy and producing a little better the second time, but you can't score. I mean, you can't win if you score one run in two games in the last two games. I know Georgia College has some quality pitching, but for an offense that was looking great for a good portion of the start of the season, you just got to find a way to get some run production, and that's tough to see with an offense with Chloe and Conway and a couple of tremendous hitters on this lineup. Just stymied here today. Like, once again, credit the quality pitching for Georgia College, but you expect more from this offense. And Georgia College able to just find adjustments in their hitting and against who they faced in the circle, and credit to them. So Sand Sharks have a lot to work on. They don't play again until Friday back at home against Flagler. So hopefully have a chance to just rebound, reset, and get ready for a new series. On the baseball side, I mean, Friday was promising the way they produced offensively. They got 8 runs, 12 hits. They faced a really good pitcher today, a couple of really good pitchers for Aiken, and it was just another prolific performance. A tough day for Navarro, tough day for Ian Barnes. It just couldn't quite find the outs when they needed them early on, and Aiken just a ton of hard hit balls, and a ton of run production midway through that game. They run rule the Sand Sharks 13-2. So this conference is tough. You're playing arguably the two best teams, I think, back to back in North Georgia and USC Aiken. So it's not. I mean, these teams aren't push up, and these are very talented too. I think both those two teams have a chance to go deep in that nationally in the NCAA tournament. I think both these teams look very good. North Georgia especially, but USC Aiken, the way their offense is maturing, very, very good. And they've got couple of really good stars, especially the freshman that went today was Shepard, who was fantastic.
Shepard.
I heard my producer told me on the broadcast that he threw a no-hitter in his first start in his freshman year, something like that. That's pretty impressive. So Aiken's a quality team, North Georgia's a quality team. That's the nature of this conference, and just got to find a way to get better and maybe find a way to get some wins these last couple of series and build still a young team. I mean, first-year head coach. There's, I expect continued improvement signs to be seen throughout the rest of this year. But tough conference that you're in, and they've definitely been challenged, and a lot of means and opportunities for improvement for both sides in terms of at the plate and also your pitching staff and defensively. Just find a way to minimize those mistakes, because when you make one against a team like this, they will make you pay for any error that you commit in these kinds of games, and we've kind of seen that throughout so far in this series for the Sand Sharks. So baseball. I expect them. I mean, they got a nice win with Embry Riddle. This is a good Aiken team, and still a lot of baseball left to be played. So I Luke Doty's had a good year. He's definitely gotten better as a hitter. Noah Campbell, he's been solid at the plate. He's had a terrific average. Which, some positive signs for him, positive signs for Doty. But they just don't have in terms of the depth offensively of stars or players that can, come through in terms of extra base hits and, big time performances at the plate. They just need to continue to develop.
They don't have enough to outslug people the way they need to with the lack of.
They need their pitching just to. I mean, they've got some guys who can make things happen, but their pitching needs to be better in terms of giving the chance to.
Oh yeah,
give them a chance.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think the positives out of this USCB team is I think this offense is solid. I don't think they're a power hitting team. I mean, we've seen that before. We've seen it literally the last
they've been able to produce runs and manufacture and move guys over.
Yes, that's exactly right. That's exactly right, Wes. And we've seen it. We've seen it this weekend. We saw it in game one. They're able to score runs. It's just that they're giving up way more runs than they are scoring, and that is just the biggest problem. It's not the offense that's the issue. It's when you score 8 runs in a game, usually you win 9 times out of 10.
Right.
Most of the time,
you should at least be in it.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. 9 times.
If you score 8 runs in the game, you should win those games more often than you lose them. And today, just tip your hat to Shepard. He was outstanding.
Yeah, he was fantastic.
Relief pitching was outstanding, and sometimes you run into a guy that's on a heater, and that's kind of what we saw with Ethan today.
And unfortunately, Wes and I have said it multiple times on the broadcast this weekend, is that this Aiken team's offense is just impressive. I mean, they got multiple guys hitting at right around the 400 batting average mark. I mean, that is when you have more than one player hitting right around 400 for the season. Up to this point in the season, where we're getting close to the halfway mark of the conference schedule, that is extremely impressive, and it shows how good this USC Aiken team is. And the funniest thing is, a lot of these players, Wes and I have joked about it, have come from Barton College. Like a lot of them have come to Barton College. And we were like, why are there so many Barton College players? Well, the head coach came over this past season from Barton College. So, they got a lot of these Barton College kids that are all fantastic players. They have the right coaching staff. They got a fantastic offense, and they got some really strong pitching. I mean, it's just a really well-rounded team, and it's going to be difficult for USCB to compete with well-rounded teams just because they don't have
challenge
the
tomorrow. I expect it to be another bullpen kind of game tomorrow with Sand Sharks already using their 3 starters. So
well, before we move on from what time is first pitch tomorrow?
1:00 tomorrow. And I had one more note, not regarding something different, but it's also USB related. I want to give a shout out to our good friend Trip Richards for doing a great job producing.
Yes.
And adding a little pregame element before the game that we did a live shot of us just pregame and just previewing the game and all that. And I gotta say that he knows what he's doing. He's doing a great job. And the broadcast has been.
We had 4 cameras today, Justin. 4 cameras for the baseball game.
Really?
4 different angles on 4 different angles on the field. It was fantastic.
Trip's a pro, man. He sounds like a pro on basketball, and baseball's his game. That's the one he came to USCB.
Yeah, no, he was a player for USCB this past season, so he knows what he's doing.
He's really in his element there, and I think he's really going to flourish in that role. I'll have to go back and check out some of the broadcast and just see the quality because I didn't get a chance to check in on it today. No, just a quick note on before we move on from USCB baseball.
And I actually have a question.
Hayden Jennings. Sure. Hayden Jennings noting that the coach leaving has left a big impact on Barton too. They're really struggling this year. But go ahead, Marcus.
So obviously I'm speaking largely as an outsider in terms of what I know about the team, but getting some information from you guys and then certainly calling a few games last year, it seems like it's pretty much, I mean, I don't want to say exactly the same team, But I remember certainly in the series that I called last year, and in what I'm seeing now from what you guys are saying, that the offense is putting far more pressure on the defense and the pitching because they don't score enough the way that they should.
That
And it
remind me a lot of that North Georgia game that you called that went to extras.
right.
So,
Yeah. Okay. So they got off, I mean, record wise, obviously they struggled, but they got off to a much better start this year, didn't they?
Similar to last year.
I know,
offensively,
but not really. I mean,
maybe
like,
offensively.
The offense was a little more promising. I just think in terms of the overall numbers, in terms of the record,
right. I'm not necessarily saying record because I think they still had.
I was about to say, Marcus. I was about to say, if we're going on record, I mean, this team won 9 games last year. They're on pace to maybe get 8 games at most. The way it's been going for them.
3 against Claflin, and those are winnable. And
I'm not really talking record necessarily because I know it's
no.
tough.
I mean, it feels like another pretty much same old type of season for the most part, and that's where I was going to connect up the dots here and say, I think it's obvious that the path to getting better quickly in NCAA sports right now is hiring somebody and them bringing everybody in the transfer portal, just like they did at Aiken. And I suspect that that's probably the intermediate term plan at USCB, but I think they probably looked at it last year and said, man, until we have something firm on facility upgrades, it's going to be a hard sell for us to get not only a coach to come here, but for all of his players to be excited to come with him. And so I think, there was a little bit of, we've questioned like the internal hire and stuff, but I think there's a little bit of like, well, let's buy a little time here, and make this job more attractive the next time it's open. And I think they're close to that. It sounds like they're making good progress. We talked with Gina Montford the other night about the progress they're making with the 2020 campaign and stuff. But I think once you get on campus and you have a real facility and, they've added the strength and conditioning coach now, as Hayden Jennings notes that the college game is more physical than ever now. You got to have that part absolutely. Of it. And so, I think that they're going to be better positioned to make a better hire this next time. And that gives them an opportunity to hire someone who thinks they can bring players who can make them competitive right away with them. And, that's probably, I would say that's probably a big part of the interview process in today's landscape. You probably ask, hey, how many dudes can you bring? Like, are you going to bring All-Americans with you or like who's coming with you? That's kind of got to be part of the process, right? Because that's a big part of it now. And have you shown that you can get people in the transfer portal, that people want to come play for you, that you're developing players? There's a lot more pieces to it now than there used to be. And so I think we got to be patient until the facilities get better. We can't really, we got to reserve a little judgment as far as I hate to use the word placeholders, but like we're kind of buying a little bit of time right now. It feels like. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Yeah, of course.
You got a split, Max?
Yeah, I got a split, guys. Gonna go hang out with my family for the night.
All right, buddy. Enjoy it, and we'll talk to you real soon.
All right, later, fellas.
I just put the High Point, Arkansas game on, and apparently I saw some tweets that Nick Pringle was close to returning, but he was questionable coming in for the Razorbacks. And from what I've heard, I never saw an update if he was active. I don't think he was, but it appears that he was questionable. They require this year. They require you to put an injury report, just like in the NFL this year in the NCAA tournament. He was listed as questionable. I don't think that he's playing tonight, but I will make sure to check. But Nick Pringle, part of the Razorbacks, who are taking on the surprise team from High Point.
Yeah,
they are that.
High Point getting their moment. Their 15 minutes of fame.
But,
right
yeah,
now.
just wanted to put the local connection in there. That Nick Pringle.
Yeah. I mean, we talked about it the other night. He's really our only representation in the men's tournament, but we did have representation in the women's tournament. I don't know if you guys saw, but I don't know where this photo was published, but I got a screenshot of a photo with the cut line. Vermont Catamounts guard Devin Yard shoots during practice before the 2026 NCAA Women's March Madness basketball tournament at the KFC Yum Center in Louisville, Kentucky, March 2026. That sounds like an AP cut line if ever I heard one. So yeah, great shot of Devin. Perfect form on the jumper.
Love it.
A catamount.
Yeah, fantastic. What an opportunity for her. Unfortunately, they fell to Louisville in the first round, but what a treat it was for her to, that's the dream of every college basketball player, to be able to play in March Madness, and it's a really cool experience for Devin. And reminds me, just took me back to when we had a player that almost won a national championship. That was Zion Campbell several years ago for Mississippi State, the former Hilton Head Seahawk.
Oh yeah, that must have been in my blind spot. I didn't recall that, but how about that?
Probably around.
Yeah, Mississippi State. That's been a while.
Yeah, it was around maybe 2017, 2018 when she was part of that Mississippi State team. Yeah, I believe they got to the championship and lost.
My USCB,
I don't remember who beat them, but
tenure was 11-17, so that checks out.
Yeah,
blind spot.
Yeah, it was.
But my blind spot is when you were in high school, so everything that happened during my blind spot. So we're
the mid
I was
mid
just getting rolling here too.
Yeah.
13 to 15, I called football, and then 17 I came back, or 18 I came back with basketball, and then was back on football from 19 to now, and obviously still do basketball too. So
Timfo.
Yep.
Pretty quiet night for the most. Thursday, JP2 soccer swept HHCA. Not huge surprises there. Although the boys' game was good, 3-2. JP2 girls are on a heater right now. They won 2-0. May River. This one stood out to me because Hilton Head is usually kind of the gold standard for boys lacrosse in this area, or was for a long time. May River 13, Hilton Head 0. And I have to give a shout out to Ethan Olette, a kid that I've known since he was in daycare, way back when with my son. He's a freshman at May River, and he tried baseball, and I coached him in baseball, and bless his heart, it just wasn't his sport. But he found his sport. He's a lacrosse goalie, and you don't see a lot of clean sheets in lacrosse, but Ethan posted one the other night against the good Hilton Head team, 13-0.
A shutout in lacrosse, those are rare. That is
right.
That is tremendous. Wow.
Yeah, tremendous. Bluffton also beat Beaufort 6-5 in boys lacrosse, and then a busy Friday night, especially for baseball and softball.
That May River Hilton Head score in baseball, that was shocking.
Yeah, May River broke it open and won 12-2 against Hilton Head in the rubber match of that 3-game series. Seahawks won game 1, and then May River coming back to win the last 2, and as you mentioned, 12-2. Also, Beaufort had a lead for a lot of the game, but Bishop England rallied to win 11-7, so they sweep that series. And then, of course, Colleton and Bluffton both did not have region series this week, so we'll have to wait and see them in region play starting next week. But yeah, that May River Hilton Head score was a little shocking that it got like that. I was about to pull up the box score here and tell you more about who did the damage. I know Jordan Reed had a great series. He had a double, got thrown out at third stretching. Christian Beckman had a big game. He had a double and a homer, 2-run shot in the first inning to set the tone. Trevor Conti, who pitched really well in game 2, had a knock and a couple RBIs in the finale. And then I don't know who that is. The catcher, Michaud, had a couple of hits and 2 walks and an RBI. So a lot of people contributing for May River as they kind of banged up on the back end of Hilton Head's pitching staff and took that first series. But all was not
yeah,
lost.
I mean, for these 3-game series, there's a lot more emphasis on, do you have 3 guys that can do some innings and 3 starters that can produce, or at least a good depth of guys on your staff, because that 3rd game, if you're running thin, that's when things really can be the difference. And credit to May River for getting that offense churning as that game went along, and Hilton had kind of just ran out of steam, but the Sharks are still showing that they have the upper hand this year over the Hilton Head Seahawks. But still interested to see how Hilton Head will perform as this year goes along. I think that Coach Bowman has gotten some good success out of those guys, and I'm excited to see how they do against teams like Bluffton and Beaufort. I think this region is, certainly Bishop England. Once again, they got the win over Beaufort. I believe they got the sweep in that 3-game series over the Eagles.
Yep, they
looks
did.
like the real deal. But Beaufort hung tough. It was I believe 11-7 was your score in that ball game. So the Eagles are battling Bishop.
Yeah, they had the lead for a lot of that game. Every time I was checking in on it, they were up, but it was close, and then they just let it get away. But yeah, they look solid, and don't count out Bluffton, although their baseball team did lose 6-0 to Bluffton, or to Lucy Beckham on Friday. So they may be I don't know, they could have just got shut down by an ace, or they may be struggling a little offensively. I'm not sure which, but they're a solid squad, so they'll be able to give everybody fits, and I think Beaufort will too. Those games were all competitive against Bishop England, so they're going to be right there in the mix as well. JP2 baseball got another nice win, 4-1 over Trinity Collegiate. I'm not sure who they've had several guys stepping up on the mound, so you can't assume which ace got it done. That game is not showing up in my game changer for some reason, but I know I got an email about it.
JP2 just continues to keep on churning. That baseball program
Don't they ever.
Is looking legit. They have some dudes who can really.
It was Stuart Misko again. Misko went 5, allowed 1 hit, 1 run not earned, struck out 4 and walked 3, and then Ben Solomons threw 2 innings of scoreless ball. So they are getting it done, man. Misko also had a leadoff double. So yeah, Misko carrying right now.
I cannot wait until my schedule kind of clears out with a bunch of this stuff that I'm doing in the month of March and beginning of April, so I can go out and especially see JP2 at least a couple of times along with some of these other schools, because I mean they're just athletes all over the place, and it amazes me how these guys and gals are able to do it with multiple sports. I obviously focus a bunch with football and basketball. We got some fine baseball and softball players, along with a bunch of other sports, tennis, golf, soccer, you name it.
Don't forget soccer. Yes. We got a bunch of soccer stars around here.
There's some Win Hilton Head girls who got another big win that we'll get to.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just going to run through a couple more baseball scores. Barnwell beat Bridges Prep 2-1, which we talked about the other night. Bridges Prep beating them 16-10, I think, in a crazy one. They had a pitcher's duel in the second game, and Barnwell turned the tide. And then that was about it for the baseball. The softball, JP2 got a juggernaut going. They beat a young Hilton Head Prep team 16-1. Battery Creek swept North Charleston in a lopsided doubleheader. Beaufort 18-8 over Hilton Head. Bridges Prep 11-3 over Barnwell. And wild one, May River 19, Bluffton 14.
Wow.
This one got a little crazy. The Sharks scored 8 in the 7th, 3 in the 6th, and 8 in the 7th to come back and win after giving up 10 in the 3rd. Wild game, absolutely wild. Some girls I've coached are starting to pop up on these rosters, which is wild. But Katie Ferguson went 4 for 4 for Bluffton with a double, 2 RBIs, 4 runs scored in a losing effort. But for the Sharks, Callie Clark in the leadoff spot, 4 for 6. She hit her first home run of her career the other night. She had a double last night. Charlotte Berkeley, 4 out of 5, 2 doubles, 4 RBIs. So the Sharks come through with a big win on the softball diamond.
Goodness
what a
gracious.
crazy game. What an absolutely crazy game. It was seen a couple of those that
it's fun.
Just get off the rail with all those runs, and it's exciting to see. Exciting to see the offenses become as potent as they can be in games like that, and you see just a back and forth kind of ball game, which can be exciting.
And it wasn't a ton of walks; it was just 3 walks each side.
That's the bit. Like that's the level. It's not like constant walks. You're actually just getting good offense on both these teams, which can be exciting, especially when there are a lot of home runs involved.
And with that, obviously, the weather is a key factor. I mean, we're getting temperatures now into the 70s and 80s with beautiful weather. It's going to cool down.
Or some nights in the 40s and 50s.
And that's true. Certainly, once it gets dark, that's a good point.
Tuesday was awful.
With the warmer
Tuesday
weather,
was terrible.
yes, you're right.
Thursday was great.
That's right. So you really never know what you're going to get, but obviously with the temperatures starting to warm up, the offenses get cranking and balls get jumping.
True. And sometimes that means the wind shifts around too and blows out at some of these parks. A lot of them are situated such that when we get southerly winds, it pushes it out instead of knocking it down. So just like Wrigley Field. It's a bear to hit there in April and May, but once that wind blows out, oh boy, it's going to be good times.
Progressive Field's the same way.
Basket's going to catch a bunch of dingers. But no, Wes, you teased some soccer, and you were talking about Hilton Head girls who got a huge win, 2-1 over May River on Friday. You got any more details on that, or?
I have not. I was not there, so I was obviously calling USB baseball. So I don't know in terms of the goal scorers or anything, but I'll have to look into that and kind of see who's been powering that Hilton Head squad, because they've just been churning out wins. They beat Bluffton, they beat May River. They beat Bishop England. Did they beat Bishop England? I believe they
did 1-0.
Yeah, so they have run the gauntlet so far of this region the first time through.
They should handle Colleton.
They did. They're looking.
They have Colleton on Tuesday, so that should be a win.
It should be a cakewalk for them. And then you have that second time through the region coming up, but they look for real. They've got. You saw it coming on like late last year. They really started to get better as a group, but this is the Hilton Head program that has had such a storied past. Won 4 in a row at one point, 4 state titles in the early 2010s. Won another late 2010s. They've had a couple of down years to their standings, but they're looking like a potent force here in 2026, and great to see those young ladies getting it together, and I'll definitely have to check them out very soon, because
led by some names you'll remember from years past. Ashley Brothers, of course, Piper Baxter, and Samantha Garcia.
Yeah, you're seeing just players get the experience and maturity, and now they're starting to lead and find ways to win. That's everything as a coach, and it's awesome to see. Especially brother, she's a multi-sport athlete. She's a terrific athlete.
Tremendous.
And the position that she's been to that team. And Piper, another one who I remember covering for a couple of years. She has been a prolific playmaker out there on the pitch, and has gotten even better this year. So it's really exciting for that program. And I'm not sure how good the other teams are, like out of the region, but if you're playing the way that you are in this region, you have a good chance of any as to make a deep run. So I'm all in on this Hilton girls soccer team right now. They're playing some great soccer, and that's not an easy place to win at May River.
Right. Bluffton girls bounced back 6-0 over Colleton. Bridges Prep 2-0 in region, 6-0 over Barnwell. Swansea blanked Hampton 4-0. On the boys' side, tough loss for Beaufort to Bishop England 2-0. May River 1-0 win over Hilton Head. That was a big matchup, and the Sharks flipped the script on that one. So 1 win for the Seahawks, 1 for the Sharks on Friday night. But May River boys not losing a step without Coach Misa. They're 6-0. He handed it off to one of his guys that he had brought up through the ranks, and they're obviously off to another great start with that team. 6-0 after a 1-0 win over Hilton Head.
That is just awesome. Sometimes when you lose a guy like Misa, you wonder how things are going to fall into place, and it seems like they haven't missed a beat. And things over at Hardyville are going pretty well to start, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're looking good. No doubt. That squad's looking like another trip to the 1A state championship is well within their reach. So hopefully they'll be able to make it back and get a chance to try to finish the job, because there's a good, we lost a good group of seniors, but we got another good group back that want to finish it off. And we have so many boys who want to play soccer. I mean, it's crazy how many kids are out for the teams. I think we have varsity, JV, and middle school.
Wow.
Maybe. I'm not positive about that. But I think we could if we had the coaches to manage all of that at least. Yeah. Now girls, not as much. The interest there is harder to come by. But with the guys, yeah, it's life. Soccer is life. Football is life for many of our students. Danny Rojas. Yeah. Eric Robertello, though, leading the way for May River Boys Soccer. He's got 3 goals, 4 assists. And then also Marcus Jean Gillet with 8 points, 3 goals, and 2 assists. So
here's the real question. How does he spell his name? With a C or a
Michael
K?
Jean Gillet? Oh, Eric? He's with a K.
Did you say Marcus Jean Gillet? Is that what I heard?
Oh, Marcus. Yeah, Marcus is with a C. Jean Gillet, JEAN-GILLES. I'm bestowing the French pronunciation.
Oh, oui.
Jean Gillet.
Most definitely.
It's probably Jean Gillis.
That's all I know. I don't speak French.
It's probably Jean Gillis. Jean Gillis. But no hablo francés either. Mi español está mejorando, pero mi francés no bueno. Either Jean Gillet or Jean Gillis, but it's soccer, so I'm going Jean Gillet.
There you go. Absolutely, I'm with it.
Sounds the way.
Yeah.
Sounds the way. It's got European flair.
Yes.
Bluffton Boys blank Colleton 8-0. Same score for Bridges over Barnwell. Whale Branch with a 3-2 win over Edisto, and I think that was first win for their coach, who is Willie White, our friend from Whale Branch, who coaches football and wrestling and track, cross country, like whatever they need him to coach. They beat them 4-0 the other night. 2 wins for Whale Branch over Edisto in a row. First 2 for their coach, who is Willie's daughter, and I think it's her first, Olivia White. I think it's her first head coaching job, and she's coaching the guys, which also has girls on the team because they didn't have enough girls to make a team. So they have guys and girls combined on their guys team, and they got 2 wins, region wins over Edisto. So shout out Will Branch.
Good stuff.
Coach White. Yeah.
Getting creative. I love seeing that.
Hey man, small school athletics, brother. We're only about 2 injuries away from having to put our girls on our boys team, I think. So it can happen fast at a small school. Other boys soccer score, Battery Creek 4-1 over St. Andrews. Those Creek boys have been looking solid. So keep an eye on them. And that's the bulk of it. I have one other thing. Beaufort had a track meet on Friday. They called it something clever. The No Speed Limit Invitational.
No speed
limit. And we discussed the other night after the Marwin Klein, the prospect of the fastest man in the Loco. And I don't even remember who it was now. Deshaun Albany was second. But a new contender has entered the state. Yes. You want to guess who has entered the chat? It's a very high profile football recruit who's quite fast. From the Bluffton Bobcats.
Amari.
Yeah, Amari Patterson. Yeah, and he busted off a little 10.5 in the 100.
Nice.
So
Very
he's
nice.
our new fastest man in the
Loco.
Awesome. For the time being.
Not surprised. Not surprised.
He also took the 200, 21:51. So nice work from him.
Absolutely.
Dayton Altacho Jr. Wow, that's a throwback.
Wow.
Dayton Altacho, who I covered as a Bluffton High School basketball player back in the day. Looks like his son came in second in the 400 in 50-48. That's solid. He beat Alan Wall. Angelo Iskander from JP2. You probably know him. Marcus, you know everybody over there.
That name does sound very familiar.
He won the 800. Sebastian Frickel, I'm sure you're familiar with him. He won the 1600. JP2 went 1-2-3 in that with Frickel, Blake Ubik, and Matthew Janicic, who I see running with his dog around my neighborhood all the time.
Matthew, I definitely know.
Matthew,
I'll see him tomorrow morning.
That man is committed.
Family every Sunday.
He is out
at
running all the time. I see that man running all the time.
Yeah.
Tyler Davis from Hampton County won the 110 hurdles. Isaac Smalls won another one in the 400 hurdles. 56-62. Goodness. May River barely beat Hardyville in the 4x1, 43.18 to 43.19.
Wow.
That is a photo finish.
Whoa.
So, yeah, wow. Hardyville boys coming up on them. And I'm pretty sure we got an 8th grader on that relay team, if I'm not mistaken. Buford came second in the 4x4 to Irmo. Hampton won the 4x8 by a wide margin over Buford. JP2 won the distance medley. Desmond Mathis, Des, with the win in the high jump from Hampton. Tyler Davis from Hampton also won the long jump. That's 2 wins for him. My guy Javar Henderson from Ridgeland, also wrestler for Hardyville. He got second. Good job, Javar.
Abney's
triple
from
jump.
Ridgeland as well, correct?
Who's that?
The first guy that you mentioned, Abney.
Abney.
Didn't you mention him first?
Amari Patterson.
Deshaun
Albany. Yeah, Deshaun Albany, who got second. Yeah.
I thought that name sounded familiar. I remember calling him against Whale Branch in our opener.
Yeah, he's from Ridgeland. He's one of the fastest dudes in the Loco.
Yeah.
Pole vault, Ricky Gardner from Hampton, 3.36. I got respect for a pole vaulter.
Yeah.
That's putting your life on the line. And a javelin winner, Andrew Boyden, football star from JP2. Won it by a good margin over wrestler from JP2, Jack Hannigan. And then on the girls' side, our fastest chica in the Loco, Ariana Allen from Hampton in 12:60. 200 goes to Janiyah English from Irmo with Janelle Brown from Bluffton in second. Irmo won that one. Taryn Hanna, Coach Hanna's daughter, won the 800. Gabby Leidy from May River won the 16. Willow Dobson from Hampton won the 100 hurdles. Zelta Antia from Buford won the 400 hurdles. There's always an Antia running from Buford.
Yes.
Hampton County girls second in the 4x1 to Irmo. Not a lot of participation in the 4x8 in the distance, but May River won both of them. Irmo took the high jump and the long jump and the triple jump. Goodness. All the same girl? No, Jayla Weaver took the long jump and the triple. Lily Gluck from May River took the pole vault. And Kaya McQuire from Hampton in the discus. Amir Harrison from Buford in the jav. And Kaya McQuire from Hampton in the shot put. So shout out track and field kids. I know that's kind of rote, me just reading the winners, but I want to say their names. Shout them out because winning your race or your event in the track meet, like that's good stuff, man. We got to celebrate that stuff. It's kind of stuff we love, especially when we hit PRs and all that stuff. But we got Nebraska and Vandy in a good game, and we got Arkansas.
Yeah, Arkansas High Point game is getting good.
I just flipped it over there to the
Donnie
High
Brook,
Point Arkansas game.
About to go into
they had
a
a cool shot. They had a cool shot of 2 student broadcasters from High Point who were in college.
Yes.
Calling
I bet they're hype.
Yes.
Yes. I tell you what, Acuff's, in my opinion, one of the best players in this tournament. He is a dog from Arkansas.
Yeah, he's
Big
tremendous. No question. He's one of the best players in the country. And did we see if our guy Pringle's playing or
I
not?
haven't checked the box score. I think he was.
I'm about to look at it right quick.
Doubtful or questionable last time I checked in terms of his status for the.
Has not checked in yet. They've only
so
played
he's not
6
played.
guys.
All right. Yeah,
so
he was. I think he took warm-ups, so I think
sounds like
he was practicing before the game. But I don't think he's actually.
Sounds like
playing.
he's probably a no-go. So that's a bummer.
Yeah.
Hopefully they can get through to next weekend so he can keep playing.
Yeah.
Although I think my wife's down there rooting hard for High Point because her brother has Arkansas and she had Wisconsin. So, family bracket contest is very intense over here. But shout out to some of our other sponsors. We mentioned Curry Kirkpatrick earlier tonight. He's a legend, of course, especially if you're of a certain age. But he's also one of the hosts of Under the Bus, along with Bob Stevens and Rich Basirico on the Loco Media Network. And it's presented by Hudson's Seafood House on the docks, a great place for seafood sunsets and cocktails on Hilton Head Island right there on Skull Creek. A great spot to check out tomorrow if you want brunch or a little afternoon lunch, great spot.
Beautiful day.
Hudson's Seafood House on the docks, presenting sponsor of Under the Bus, which you can find on the Loco Media YouTube channel. And also shout out to Hilton Head Windows and Doors. They want to improve your view of the Loco. We got our old friend, Coach Barron from Hilton Head Prep at the helm over there. He's hung up his whistle and focused on a new kind of screens, although I'm sure he's watching a lot of basketball this weekend, like the rest of us. Shout out to HHI Windows and Doors. Twinge and Twombly is your personal injury attorney in Beaufort. They've got a remarkable, a rare name, but they provide remarkable service at Twinge and Twombly. So call on them for your personal injury attorney needs. And of course, Jay's Barbershop is the place to be in Ridgeland, whether you need a haircut or not. And Reverence Wrestling Club's our official wrestling sponsor and presenting sponsor of the Loco Grind, and the place to go in the Loco if you want to take your skills on the mat to the next level this offseason. So that brings us, fellas, to our parting thoughts. Marcus Walsh, start us off.
It's been an awesome tournament. Of course, we certainly know about that. I believe on Wednesday, the interviews that I did, I redid an interview with our good buddy Ray Alonzo, and I also talked to Jeff Riley over at USCB Wednesday evening before the sun went down. Was out there from about 5 to 6-ish. Beautiful evening over by the Hargrave building, and was talking to Jeff about his experience with Nick bowling in Reno. The guys did awfully well, really competed hard, and bowled quite well. And I was talking certainly about the Special Olympics that was going on closer to home, certainly with Ray Alonzo.
How did that go on Friday?
It was
Special Olympics.
Chaos.
It was something. It was on Thursday indoors because they couldn't find. They would have preferred to have it Friday, but they couldn't schedule the buses
didn't have availability
to get everybody over there on Friday. So it was taking place a week ago Thursday, and it was something. There was a ton of kids and a lot of participation. So for what I was able to get, obviously I interviewed Misa, and that one did make air. And he really enjoyed his experience coming back home, as he always does, to May River. But talked with Ray about what was going on with his kids and whatnot, but also that Beaufort has a special thing going on with adaptive sports going on there at the Parks and Rec. So I'm sure we'll talk more about it in the upcoming days, certainly as the interview is planning to air on Wednesday. Gonna really try to be certainly working with Jeff on some special Olympic kind of beat stories, because he's going to be, glued in. So be doing that with him over the next couple of months on WHHI. That's the plan. And then my Guardians made a couple of moves today. They sent Carter Keyboom, who was a minor leaguer that got a cup of coffee in spring training.
Former Nationals prospect Carter.
Oh yeah,
And
that's right. Remember that
that's
name,
right.
yeah.
And he's heading back to the National League East for some cash, as he goes to Philadelphia for cash. And then a move, just in looking at the box scores over the last few weeks, a move that I think needed to be made was made. We were talking about USCB and their struggles on the bump. Logan Allen has had a really rocky spring training, and he's going to be starting the year in Columbus. Your number 5 starter for the Cleveland Guardians, ladies and gentlemen, Parker Messick. And
Wow.
Parker had a really good year last year, coming in, big left-hander, fluid motion. He reminds me in a way with his demeanor on the mound of an Andy Pettit, except he's probably at least half a foot taller and probably 100 pounds heavier. I mean, he's got some Andy in him, but he controls everything really well for being a big guy. Really looking forward to seeing what he can do. Joey Cantillo and the starters kind of struggled their way through the spring training portion of the season, as to be expected. I'm just excited for opening day come Thursday. I mean, it's
Only a week away, less
here
than a week
like
away, yeah.
everything else, and you talk about the World Baseball Classic and certainly
Yeah, I
spring
think
training
that
games.
just gets even more
Time to get
excited
rolling.
yeah, I think just seeing the World Baseball Classic and the excitement there just generates a lot more buzz for Major League Baseball and the start of the season. I think the Cubs are going to be really good this year, especially getting Bregman again, continuing the development of some of their young stars. I think the Cubs are going to be very competitive going into 2026 season. I know JJ, your guys over there.
I hope so. I
Yeah.
mean, as a lifelong Cubs fan of a certain age, that they first made me cry in 1984. I've learned to be, cautiously optimistic, at best most of the time. And, if we get to October and we're in the playoffs, then I'll start to get a little more excited. But even then, like visions of, Moises Alou and Steve Bartman and Alex Gonzalez and Mark Pryor and all that just flash before you, and you're just like, yeah, but I mean, not really, right? And then it happened once, and the world hasn't really been the same since. So I'm still a little concerned that maybe it tore a hole in the space-time continuum.
I still think it was Harambe in May.
I hope so. I mean, that's the consolation I take. I believe I'd like to believe that it was Harambe. I mean, R.I.P. Harambe, but I hope it wasn't attached to one of my happiest
No,
moments.
I think that was
the world began to end.
That was the excitement before things get a little. But yeah, no, that was one where you had to stay up for it. It was a piece of baseball history for a cursed franchise, and that was And good to see
My
the
family
Cubs.
did not stay up for it, but I did, and I screamed silently.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure. I am sure. Real quick, one other thought. The next time that I'm on with you guys, I figure it'll be sometime in the upcoming week. I'm gonna have a food report as my parting thought. So
Look
tease.
forward to that.
Very muy
It's gonna be delicious.
interesante.
Yeah.
Comida delicioso. What you got, Wes? Anything else?
I do.
Or anything?
Going back to well, I'm a big Atlantic 10 fan. I'm a Davidson grad, so I'll root for any of the A10 teams that are remaining in the dance. And of course, this year, both those two of those teams, VCU and St. Louis, got wins. But I think the guy that really captured the attention of America. Oh goodness gracious! Okay, here we go.
He's there.
Yes, there he is.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Goodness.
Yep. Robbie Avila, who actually was originally at the Indiana State, and he was with them when they went deep in the NIT, and that was when he kind of took off for some of the diehards. But then he continued to get notoriety, not just with the skill, with his personality, and it's been cool to see him get even more attention now as they got to the Atlantic or the tournament, but also the NCAA tournament, and what he was able to do this year in March Madness, leading St. Louis to that win over Georgia. And great demeanor, great guy, and just a cool guy to root for. And so, wishing him all the best as he wraps up his time with the Pelicans. And it's always cool to see a player like that, larger than life, and March Madness can make stars out of the unlikeliest of heroes. And he's a cool hero to look up to.
He's also got some of the greatest nicknames ever.
Yes.
What were you saying?
I have some here, including I have some right here, including Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Yeah, that's the best one. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Stop there because that's the best one.
I see Larry Nerd, but Larry Bird was a nerd too. So
he sure was.
I don't think that works. LeBron Frames. That's kind of funny because the glasses. Yeah. And then Milk Chamberlain.
Nice.
But Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, I'm sure is
I think that's my favorite.
What, Milk Chamberlain?
Milk Chamberlain.
Milk Chamberlain's pretty good. It's pretty good. Or it could be Milkle Jordan.
Yeah,
Milkle Jordan. But yeah, Robbie Avila, wonderful player. He's not Robbie Avila, but we've enjoyed watching him play for a few years, and I saw that this gentleman's going to get to keep playing ball. Ethan Cox from Battery Creek, signing with or committed to Denmark Tech, going to go play JUCO ball for a couple of years, and most likely get an associate's degree and something that he can actually
opens
use
doors for you.
Life.
Even the associate's degree opens a lot of doors.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah, it does. Especially if you get it in some kind of a trade that has you learn how to do a trade while you're there. Brother, you're in good shape coming out of there, even if you don't land at a 4-year school after that.
I'm very proud to say that there are a bunch, along with nurses, there are a bunch of engineers in my family. My dad, one of them, the patriarch of the engineers. Went to a 2-year school, got his associate's degree, took care of his family, and had a wonderful career.
Awesome. Ain't no shame in that, and a lot of kids these days they're buying into that. They're looking at technical schools and community colleges cool. To knock out their early enrollment now. They get a lot of it out of the way before they're out of high school.
Yeah, with the dual enrollment now, it's easier. You can take college classes in high school.
You can walk out with an associate's if you play your cards right.
Yeah.
100% true.
And kids are doing that. And then, it's going to be crazy to watch that kind of the lag on that come into play with athletics, because you won't see it everywhere, because not all, college athletes are going to be high achieving students who are taking dual enrollment. But I think in certain sports and at certain levels, you're going to see a lot of kids who are coming out with an associate's. So they go play 2 years somewhere, and then they transfer in the portal as a graduate transfer. And if they redshirted that first year, they can complete a graduate degree within their 4 years of school. Incredible. It's kind of crazy what kids could do if they really have their ducks in a row these days. So there's a lot of opportunity out there.
Yeah.
But one other thing that I came across on the gram, a school record. They have been coming fast and furious for USCB track, it feels like, but just today, Victoria Cologne with the school record in the hammer throw, 47.26 at the Emory Spring Break Classic.
Outdoor season is here for them now, so it's looking forward to seeing what those track and field athletes do for USCB. Another record shattered. So this spring,
there's another one. It would appear. Ja'Cory Herring in the 400 and the 400 hurdles. That man had a day. Samuel Mitchell in the long jump, Channing Robinson in the high jump. So Coach Harris and company.
That's outstanding. We'll definitely make sure to
at USCB.
Definitely make sure to give them a shout out on the baseball broadcast tomorrow.
There you go. Yeah, let them hear the love. Track and field doing work down in Florida. All right, boys. Well, that's about all I got. My bracket is busted, so I'm rooting for chaos to bust everybody else's up and even the playing field. So go chaos.
So far, I still have a great Final Four set up.
Yeah, me too.
All right.
I got Michigan,
Tomorrow.
Michigan State, Houston, and Arizona, so I'm still looking good there. And I think I still got 14 of the Sweet 16 possible, but I need
I wouldn't
Vandy.
say your bracket's busted up then.
No, but I'm
good.
near the bottom of my. I'm in last in the Lowco pool and nearly last. Thank God for two of the cousins, the young my niece and my nephew. Just thank goodness their brackets were worse. Let's just put it that way. But I'm not in last, and I won't finish in last. All right, boys, good stuff tonight. Enjoyed it. Always fun to talk sports with y'all and let everybody know what's going on around the Lowco. Shine a light on our teams and student athletes doing the work out there in the Lowco, making us proud. Thanks to all of our sponsors who make it possible, and thanks to you for showing up to listen or watch. For Marcus Walsh and Wes Kerr, I'm Justin Jarrett. We'll see you real soon with another edition of the Loco Sports Lowdown. Until then, go Loco.